Hey guys, so this week's video is kind of a two-pronged topic. I'm going to talk about the future in terms of my worries and things that stress me out, and then I'm going to talk about how we can kind of combat those worries together. So I guess that's two parts, but also I want to talk about the future of this channel, and I want your suggestions, so let's get into it. First of all, what kind of things am I worried about for the future? A lot. Like, a lot. When you're disabled and chronically ill, you kind of, I don't know, at least for me, the future, I never really had a concrete plan, but I knew I would be doing something, or at least I thought I did. But then this shit happened, and never in my wildest dreams or nightmares or whatever had I thought, if you had asked me when I was in school, that I would end up with a bunch of chronic illnesses and using a wheelchair. It just wasn't even close to in my sphere of awareness, I guess, because who really thinks that's going to happen to them? I don't know anyone who has a contingency plan for that. If you do, I guess props to you. That's some hardcore planning right there, but I didn't, so that really threw me for a loop. So now that happened to me, I'm kind of like, what else is going to happen in the future, Literally anything could, and that's a little bit nerve-wracking. On a more practical side, I'm also worried about things like work because I still have difficulty going full-time on things, I have difficulty getting out of bed and then doing a full day of classes or a full day of work. So a typical 9-to-5 job is going to be very difficult, if not impossible for me. So obviously that requires some adjustments. I originally went to school to be an ESL teacher, so English as a second language teacher. I was planning to travel the world and, teach English, and it was going to be great. But once this all happened, I realized, okay, I'm going to need to, adjust my plans because, well, some countries aren't as good as with accessibility, wheelchair accessibility for one thing. For another thing, if I'm constantly traveling, it'll be hard to have a steady team of medical professionals that can help me. That's not to say that I've given up my dream entirely. I still plan on going on vacation a lot, and I probably will still move out of the US. I just don't plan on country hopping, basically. That's why I switched my major to youth studies, and now I'm hoping I can be an advocate or work with some sort of nonprofit for youth, things like that. Nonprofits are also very flexible and understanding for people with disabilities, which is, helpful. Even before that, though, there is my current big worry, which is graduate school or work. I don't know. I didn't really think about this, and I don't know why. I think I was so distracted by medical stuff that I just kind of forgot to plan for the future. So now I'm going into my senior year of college, and I'm like, holy shit, what am I going to do after I graduate, But all is not lost. This is where the planning part comes in. If you're like me and you're getting very overwhelmed, even just by hearing this, first of all, sorry, didn't mean to set you off, but if you are, the first thing I would recommend is make a list, whether it's in your head or written down, although written down would definitely be easier for future reference, of all the things that you're worried about. Maybe like a to-do list. Start with the thing that is most pressing and then go on to least pressing. And then just start thinking, okay, how can I work through these items? So take me, for example. My most pressing thing, I suppose, would be, my most pressing thing is some issues I'm having with classes right now. So I emailed my advisor and my disability resource counselor, I think that's what she's called. Then there's the issue of graduate school versus work. So set up an appointment with a career counselor, that sort of thing, Then there's the issue of an actual job in the future and where I want to live. There's not too much I can do right now. I can start researching countries and see which ones are really wheelchair accessible, things like that. I can't look too much into job prospects just because I can't really apply for a job because it won't be open in a year, probably. But I can start looking and see, okay, I would want to do this, this, and this, but not this, So there are things you can do. I have to admit, I've been feeling worried about all this as well. I love this channel. We just hit over 100 subscribers, which is great. But sometimes I get really frustrated and I feel like I'm doing all this for nothing, that I'm just screaming into a void. Or not screaming, I suppose, venting into a void, giving tips to a void. I don't know. But that frustrates me as well. which is where you guys come in. If you have any suggestions or anything that you want to see on this channel, please let me know. I have a couple ideas. One I'm thinking about is making a separate playlist for a really nerdy idea I had. I thought it might be fun to like dress up as a D&D character and make sort of video updates from them about what's going on in our campaign so that you guys could see, kind of like a video diary. Would you be interested in that? I know it has nothing to do with being chronically ill, but it could be fun. I also thought about doing a sort of day in the life perspective from Sarge, if I can get a camera and like attach it to him, because right now I film on my phone, so obviously I'm not going to be able to tie my phone to him, I don't think. Or anything else that you guys have in mind, just let me know in the comments. I realize that I don't usually do the whole promo thing that YouTubers do because I think it's obnoxious, but seriously, if you like this channel, comment, like, subscribe, share it. That means a lot. I'm not making any money off this right now, and I'm not naive enough to think that this could be a full-time career as like my main option. If it does, that would be awesome, but right now, because of YouTube's new-ish policy, you can't actually monetize anything until you have over 1,000 subscribers. That's 10 times the amount we have right now. So I do have a Ko-fi, I think. It's always in the description, which is basically, if you like my stuff, pay me the amount of money that a coffee would cost. I think it's like $4 or more. And it's just like a show of support. It's not a full-time Patreon. I would totally be willing to do a Patreon if anyone would sign up for it. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in. If it is, again, let me know. Tell me what kind of tiers you would want, like rewards, things like that. Basically, this video is all over the place, and I'm trying to figure out the future of this channel and my future and helping you out with your future. But I hope it was at least kind of helpful or interesting, and I will see you next week. Bye.